victim of a shooting that night in the club, December 27th, 1999, shot in the face by Sean Puffy Combs. I was an innocent bystander.
Back with Moses Shyne Barrow, who served nearly 9 years in prison, stemming from that infamous nightclub shooting that changed his life forever. His co-defendant, Sean Combs, was acquitted.
I'm 42, I'm 43 next month.
And at this time with Diddy,
I was probably like 19.
She joins us now, sharing her story. Natanya, thank you so much for being with us. I can't imagine what you've been through since 1999 and then all the emotions that must be coming up over the last couple of days.
I can tell you that immediately, the moment she opened her mouth, you could see that Combs was listening intently to everything that she had to say, as well as those jurors.
After Jennifer Lopez was dragged into the Diddy lawsuit over allegedly being the third mule in a 1999 nightclub shooting where Diddy and J-Lo allegedly made a rapper named Shyne take the fall and spend 10 years in prison for them, people have started digging into her past and it raises some questions.
I don't know if he was present with that, but I know he had been hanging around with him in London, in Paris, different places.
Law enforcement sources are expecting the feds to widen the Diddy probe to include previous criminal investigations. Now, we know Diddy was criminally investigated regarding that shooting in New York, but I didn't realize the extent of J-Lo's involvement.
And I said, Puffy shot me in my face. This man testified. I testified in the criminal trial. This man testified in the criminal trial. People are like, why didn't she speak up then? Why is she saying something now? She want clout. Are you dumb?
J-Lo is just, I don't know. Every man she's been with has said the same thing, except for Diddy. Diddy's the only one that said she was a great girlfriend and how he wish he hadn't messed it up.
Well, she deserves it. She's one of the flyest out there.
Yeah, well, she thinks that of you too. She named you one of the great loves of her life.
Yeah,
was she one of yours too?
Yeah, without a doubt.
This is clearly not Jennifer Lopez's year. She found herself in the middle of a divorce, just when many thought she was living out the most romantic love story ever told. On top of that, her "This Is Me." Now documentary didn't land the way people expected. What's especially interesting is the buzz suggesting her past with the now disgraced mogul Diddy may be tied to everything going wrong. Keep watching, because by the end, we'll break down some jaw-dropping theories that claim Diddy is the real reason Ben walked away from J-Lo. Let's get into it.
Everybody else that's left her, oh, she was too this, she was this, she was that, but Diddy said she was perfect.
She was meant for the medal.
What happens if you're only perfect for the devil?
The moment in question goes back to J-Lo and Diddy, long before either version of Bennifer, 1.0 or 2.0, ever existed. Between 1999 and 2001, their relationship was everywhere. You couldn't pick up a tabloid without seeing the two of them dominating red carpets, rocking designer outfits, and essentially owning the New York City scene. But things began to fall apart after a nightclub shooting in 1999. Diddy allegedly sparked a confrontation in a New York bar by knocking a drink out of someone's hand. The situation escalated quickly, leaving 3 people injured, including Nata Rubin, who claimed she was struck in the face by a bullet linked to Diddy. J-Lo and Diddy fled the scene, but were apprehended not long after. Jennifer was released from custody within hours, while Diddy was briefly held. Despite facing serious charges, both he and his bodyguard were released, in part because Jennifer, a key witness, stated they were innocent.
Car drove by, saw a female hand throwing a gun out of the car. You're the only female in the car. You don't want to talk about it? You very confident that Puffy will be found innocent in this trial?
Yes, I will.
You going to testify?
Now that all the details have come to light, some people are speculating that Jennifer may have lied to protect Diddy's image. Possibly the biggest mistake of her career. Do you know who actually took the fall? Shyne, also known by his real name Moses Michael Barrow, was a young rapper and Diddy's protege at the time, though many hadn't heard of him. Shyne was present at the club that night and ended up serving a 9-year prison sentence. Despite everything, Jennifer and Diddy continued their relationship for about 2 years, ultimately breaking up in 2001. In interviews since, both of them have spoken positively about one another, showing no signs of animosity. Because they were involved in a criminal situation together, many now wonder whether there's a deeper bond between them. While nothing has been confirmed, public opinion is shifting as Diddy faces multiple legal battles. In a recent interview, Shyne, the artist who spent nearly a decade behind bars, stated that Diddy ruined his life when he was just 18 years old. He also claimed that Diddy persuaded witnesses to testify against him for something he didn't do.
I was defending him, and he turned around and called witnesses to testify against me, and he contributed. He pretty much sent me to prison.
It's also strange that the shooting victim, Nada, never changed her story. She maintained that Diddy was the one who fired the shot while holding the gun.
And I said, Puffy shot me in my face. This man testified. I testified in the criminal trial. This man testified in the criminal trial. People are like, why didn't she speak up then? Why is she saying something now? She want clout. Are you dumb?
Jennifer could also find herself in serious trouble if any of these allegations turn out to be true. She had publicly vouched that Diddy wasn't armed and declared his innocence. Now people are questioning why she remains so close to him, and everything feels tangled. The speculation is that he has leverage over her. Similar claims have come from Suge Knight while behind bars. Now let's get into one of the theories about why Ben supposedly left J-Lo. On a podcast he runs from prison, Suga, a well-known figure in the rap world, allegedly claimed that the FBI's seizure of tapes from Diddy's residence triggered the reported tension between Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck. Suge said these weren't just regular home videos. According to him, these disturbing recordings may shine a light on J-Lo's involvement in the 1999 incident. He made it clear that the footage reportedly includes evidence showing Jennifer lied when she said Shyne was the gun's owner, the same claim that helped send him to prison. She allegedly knew the weapon belonged to Diddy and was just covering for him. Suge believes Ben Affleck got hold of these recordings, and that's what caused the rift in their relationship. He stated that the FBI handed the tape over to Ben once it was found. Do you think Ben walked away to avoid being dragged into the mess, and that federal agents might now be circling J-Lo? It's a wild theory. Whether this is real evidence or just another one of Suge's stories isn't clear, but it's made people examine the Hollywood couple's supposed split more closely. It may not even be about the tapes. The idea of J-Lo having any kind of connection to Diddy, giving him PR support or otherwise, could have been enough to set Ben off. Combine that with J-Lo's long-standing image as a glamorous, high-maintenance partner with a thing for famous men, and it starts to look like a recipe for disaster. Now, let's take a quick look at how the differences in personality between Ben and J-Lo may have contributed to the breakup.
As fate would have it, 20 years later, here we are.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I felt inspired in the same way that I did when I did that first record. I was like, I'm gonna make This Is Me.
It's quite clear that Ben was the one who chose to end things with Jennifer, especially since it seemed obvious she was still deeply in love with him. Considering how quickly celebrities are now distancing themselves from Diddy, it's possible that Ben simply took a firmer stance than most.
My life, been through a lot of different kinds of experiences with the press, and it's not my favorite part of the job. It's not what I would choose.
Ben Affleck has never been a fan of the intense spotlight that comes with fame. He tends to stay out of the public eye unless it's time for a press tour or professional obligation. That's why many were surprised when he rekindled his relationship with Jennifer Lopez, someone often described as his complete opposite when it comes to embracing attention. Their love story began in 2002 after co-starring in the film Giggly. The couple quickly became a media sensation, got engaged, but ultimately called off their wedding in 2003 and broke up in 2004. After years apart, other marriages, and children with different partners, they reunited and tied the knot in 2022. But with their renewed marriage reportedly crumbling just 2 years later, many now question whether the reunion was a mistake for both of them. While love may have brought them back together, it's clear that their lifestyles were at odds. J-Lo thrives in the spotlight and often goes out of her way to stay in it, while Ben, previously married to Jennifer Garner, has always preferred a more private life. That clash may have been too much to ignore. A telling moment in their relationship was when Jennifer publicly showcased love letters Ben had written her during their early romance. Ben saw those letters as deeply personal and private, and he was reportedly blindsided when she shared them publicly. It underscored just how differently they viewed fame, privacy, and their relationship.
How do you accept an award for being something that you know you're not? How do you do that?
In addition to interpersonal conflicts, it seems that Diddy's tapes might have been the last straw in the partnership. The timeline that is partially corresponds. Consider this: Ben Affleck purchased a new $20 million property in Los Angeles at the end of July, just before their formal separation on August 20th, after the FBI searched Diddy House in March. TMZ sources claimed that Ben moved out of the Beverly Hills house in late June before Jennifer got back from a recent vacation to Europe. He told her before purchasing his home, he then began renting an apartment in Brentwood. It appears that a major event caused the two to become estranged between the raid and the divorce. Other well-known figures in the industry, such as Jaguar Wright, have stated that J.Lo ought to face charges since she is more engaged with Diddy than she acknowledges.
Victim of a shooting that night in the club, December 27, 1999, shot in the face by Sean Puffy Combs. I was an innocent bystander.
Back with Moses Shyne, Barrow, who served nearly 9 years in prison stemming from that infamous nightclub shooting that changed his life forever. His co-defendant, Sean Combs, was acquitted.
I'm 42, I'm 43 next month.
And at this time with Diddy,
I was probably like 19.
He joins us now, sharing her story. Natanya, thank you so much for being with us. I can't imagine what you've been through since 1999 and then all the emotions that must be coming up over the last couple of days.
I can tell you that immediately, the moment she opened her mouth, you could see that Combs was listening intently to everything that she had to say, as well as those...
What are your thoughts? In 1999, did Jennifer tell a lie? And even though it has been more than 20 years, should she still be held accountable? If she did, in my opinion, J.Lo would not look good in orange, and she would most likely start attempting to distance herself from Diddy by severing any connections. Diddy is one person who is becoming weary of prison mail. He is trying to get out on bail for the third time, but this time, he is trying harder after 2 court judges rejected his appeal. He is taking it to a higher court in the hopes that they would grant him a reprieve, Sean.
As we talked about in the first part, there seems to be some misinformation or misunderstanding of what really went down in that trial, what was said, what people were blamed for, what they were not. I'd love to hear your perspective and specifically kind of what you wish people understood about that trial that maybe they don't at this time.
I mean, even from the very day that the meeting took place, because if you notice their mugshots, only Shyne truly has a mugshot. Puffy and J.Lo, Puffy's in front of a concrete wall, J.Lo is in front of a bulletin board in some old t-shirts. Now, I want everyone to think that was the night of the shooting. You don't think at Christmas time, Puffy and J.Lo went out in some old raggedy t-shirts, right? No, there was already a agenda afoot to conceal what they had on, to try to sway the minds of people, to throw your memory off, but they couldn't throw my memory off.